The glass door swings open smooth. No sound but the whisper of expensive air escaping into the street. Winnie Harlow steps inside, and right there, right at that threshold, something shifts. The boutique smells like money, not perfume exactly. Something cleaner than that. Cold leather, polished marble, that particular silence wealth buys when it wants to keep certain voices out. The kind of quiet that makes your footsteps feel like an intrusion. She walks in wearing confidence like armor, but I've lived long enough to know confidence don't stop eyes from cutting. And Lord, the eyes in that room cut deep. The sales associate at the counter looks up, sees her, then looks down. Not fast, understand? Slow, deliberate. The kind of look away that says, I saw you, and chose not to. Winnie moves toward a display of handbags. Her hand reaches out, not grabbing, just touching, the way folks do in stores like this. And a young white woman in all black appears from nowhere. Not walking, materializing like store security with a smile. Can I help you find something? The words sound helpful. But the tone is a locked door painted to look open. Just browsing, Winnie says, voice even, face calm. The woman nods, but she don't leave. She hovers, close enough to watch, far enough to pretend she ain't watching. Across the room, another customer walks in. White woman. Designer sunglasses, loose sweater that probably cost more than most folks rent. The same sales associate who looked away from Winnie? She lights up, walks over fast, smiling wide. Welcome. Oh my God, we just got the new collection in. Let me show you. You're going to love it. Winnie stands there, hand still resting on a bag she hadn't planned to buy, watching that warmth pour out for someone else. Watching that door open. The invisible one. The one that swings wide without effort for bodies the world decided belong. And here's what people don't understand. It ain't loud. Racism in places like this don't announce itself. It don't wear a hood or shout slurs. It just adjusts. It smiles different. It offers help to some, suspicion to others. It makes you prove you got money before it shows you respect. Winnie don't react. Don't fuss, don't demand to speak to a manager. Because she knows what I know. What every black person walking through this world knows. Reacting costs. Reacting makes you the problem. Reacting turns their disrespect into your anger, and suddenly the story ain't about what they did. It's about how you responded. So she stands there. Skin marked by vitiligo like a map of somewhere beautiful the world ain't learned to read yet. And she breathes through it. The woman in black still hovering nearby, still watching, still waiting for Winnie to do something wrong, something that'll confirm whatever ugly assumption brought her over in the first place. Another customer enters, another warm greeting, another wide smile. Winnie picks up a wallet, examines it, sets it down, moves to the next display. The woman in black follows, not close enough to be obvious, but close enough. I've seen this dance before. In different cities, different stores, different decades. The steps change, but the rhythm stays the same. You walk in, they watch. You touch something, they come closer. You exist. They make sure you know you're not supposed to. And the worst part? The part that sits heavy in your chest long after you leave? It's that nobody else notices. The other customers see a store. Winnie sees a test. They see shopping. She sees survival. The air conditioning hums. The marble gleams. The handbags sit perfect on their pedestals, priced high enough to keep most of the world out. But it ain't just price doing the keeping. It's looks. It's hovering. It's smiles that appear for some faces and vanish for others. Winnie walks toward the door. The woman in black relaxes just a little. Relief, maybe, or satisfaction. The thought that she did her jobs and protected the merchandise from a body she was taught to see as threat. Winnie steps back out onto the street, and the glass door closes behind her with that same expensive whisper. She keeps walking, head up, face forward, like it didn't happen. But it did. And she'll carry it. The weight of being watched when you came to be welcomed. The exhaustion of having to prove you deserve to be in a space that should have been open to begin with. The quiet violence of a door that looks like it opens for everybody, but only swings wide for some. Nem todo não é dito com palavra. Not every no comes with words. Some come with silence, with hovering, with a smile that never arrives. And the people who don't live it, they walk right past. They see a store, we see a system. Let me teach you something about looking, about the way eyes can say what mouths won't, about the violence that happens in a glance. Winnie walks into a hotel lobby. 5 stars, marble columns, fresh flowers the size of small trees. The kind of place where silence feels expensive, where even the elevator music sounds like it went to private school. She's here for a fashion event, invited. Her name on a list. But the man at the concierge desk don't know that yet. All he sees is her. And the way he sees her? That's where it starts. His eyes land on her face first. The vitiligo, patches of lighter skin against darker. A pattern nature made and the world decided to judge. His expression does something small, something most folks would miss. A tightening around the mouth, a brief pause. The look you give when something don't match what you expected. Not disgust exactly. More like confusion, like he's trying to place her, trying to figure out if she belongs. She walks toward the desk, heels clicking on that polished floor, and his eyes track her movement the way you'd track something you ain't sure about yet. Not welcoming, assessing. "Can I help you?" he asks. Same words that white couple got 2 minutes ago when they walked in. But the tone is different. It's careful, guarded, like he's already preparing for her to be in the wrong place. "I'm here for the Vogue event," Winnie says, voice steady, professional. He blinks, glances at his computer screen, back at her. Like maybe he heard wrong. "Your name?" She gives it, he types. Slow, takes longer than it should. His colleague glances over, curious now, watching. And here's what people don't see. It ain't one look, it's layers. It's the desk clerk, yeah, but it's also the woman in the lobby who does a double take. The security guard whose hand moves just a little closer to his radio. The other guests who glance, then glance again, like they trying to solve a puzzle they didn't ask for. Every look says, "You sure you supposed to be here?" Every glance carries weight. The clerk finds her name. His face shifts, just barely, into something closer to professional. But the warmth, the easy smile he gave that white couple, it don't come. 5th floor, elevators are to your right. No welcome, no enjoy your event, just direction. Like giving her the information is the job, but making her feel welcome ain't part of the contract. Winnie nods, turns, walks toward the elevators. Behind her, she hears the clerk greet the next guest, a white man in a business suit. "Good evening, sir. Welcome. How can I assist you today?" The voice is warm now, easy, human. She presses the elevator button, waits. Across the lobby, a woman stares. Not hostile, just staring. The kind of stare that makes you feel like a spectacle, like your body is public property, open for examination. Winnie stares back, calm, unflinching. The woman looks away first. The elevator arrives. Winnie steps in. The doors close. And for just a moment, just that brief ride up, she breathes. But I want you to understand something. This ain't one bad day. This is every day. Different lobby, same look. Different store, same energy. Different restaurant, same hesitation before they seat you. It's the pediatrician who talks to the white parent in the waiting room but walks past the black one. It's the teacher who calls on every hand but yours. It's the co-worker who asks where you really from, like the answer you gave the first time wasn't American enough. It's the look that says, "I see you, and I'm deciding if you're a problem." And the weight of it. The weight of being looked at like that, day after day, year after year, in stores and hotels and offices and streets. That weight don't go away when you leave the building. It follows you home. It sits with you at night. It makes you check yourself before you walk into spaces you got every right to enter. Makes you dress a certain way, talk a certain way, smile a certain way, just to ease the suspicion you know is coming. Because you learned early, your existence makes people nervous. Not because of what you do, because of who you are. Winnie steps off the elevator. The event space is beautiful. Chandeliers, champagne, models and designers and photographers. The world that ignored her is now the world that needs her. But even here, even in a room that invited her, she feels the looks, the double takes, the whispers. She's used to it by now. That's the part that hurts most. You get used to it. You learn to walk into rooms expecting to be questioned. You learn to carry proof of belonging, your invitation, your ID, your credentials, because your face ain't enough. You learn that some people will never see you as anything but out of place, no matter how much you achieve, no matter how high you climb, because the problem was never what you did. It was always what you looked like while doing it. The room fills with chatter. Someone approaches Winnie, smiling now. Wants a photo, wants to be seen with her, wants to claim connection to the body they would have ignored outside this context. She smiles, she poses, she does her job. But inside, she's still carrying that look from the lobby, that pause, that assessment, still carrying every lobby, every store, every room that made her prove she deserved to be there. And that weight? That quiet, constant weight of being seen wrong? Some folks carry that their whole lives. And the people who don't? They walk past, they smile, they see beauty and success. We see the cost. We see the looks that came before the applause. We see what it took to stand in that room with your head up, knowing half the people there still looking at you like you don't quite fit. Algumas feridas não fazem barulho, mas deixam marca. E aqui, a gente não deixa o silêncio apagar o que foi vivido. Department store. Mid-afternoon. Winnie's looking at skincare products, reading labels the way anybody does when they're trying to find something that works for them. She picks up a bottle, examines it, sets it down, reaches for another. That's when he appears. Security guard, black uniform, radio on his hip. He don't say nothing at first, just positions himself at the end of the aisle, close enough to see her, far enough to pretend he's just patrolling. But I know that stance. Every black person knows that stance. That's the watching stance, the waiting for you to slip stance. Winnie notices him. Course she does. You always notice when you being followed. She keeps shopping anyway. Moves to the next aisle. Cosmetics now. Lipsticks in 100 shades lined up like soldiers. The guard moves too. Not right behind her. That would be obvious. He stays back, casual-like, pretending to check something on his radio. But his eyes stay locked on her. She picks up a lipstick, tests the color on her hand. The guard shifts his weight, hand moving just slightly toward that radio. A white woman breezes past, purse hanging open, shopping bag from another store visible inside. The guard don't even glance at her. His attention stays fixed on Winnie. And here's the thing people don't understand. It ain't about what you doing. It's about what they think you capable of. The problem wasn't that Winnie looked suspicious. She didn't. The problem was that her body, her skin, her presence got read as potential threat before she even touched a product. She's shopping, same as everybody else in that store. But she ain't being treated the same. Another customer walks up. Young white girl, maybe 17, 18. She slips a small makeup palette into her jacket pocket. Quick, smooth, practiced. The guard don't see it. He's too busy watching Winnie. I've seen this play out so many times it makes my chest hurt. The real theft happening while security focused on the wrong body. The actual crime overlooked because they too busy suspecting somebody who ain't doing nothing wrong. Winnie moves toward the register. She's got 2 items in her hand, moisturizer and a lip gloss. Paid for with her own card, her own money earned from her own work. The guard follows her to the checkout line. The cashier sees him, sees Winnie. Something passes between them, a look quick as a breath. The cashier's smile gets just a little tighter. "Did you find everything okay?" she asks. It sounds polite, but there's something underneath. A carefulness, like she's reading from a script designed to protect the store, not welcome the customer. "Yes," Winnie says. She pays. The transaction goes through. The cashier bags her items slowly, checking the receipt twice like she making sure everything matches. The guard finally moves away. Job done, I guess. Threat neutralized. Except there was never no threat. just a woman shopping. Just a body that got profiled before it even entered the aisle. Winnie takes her bag, walks toward the exit. Behind her, that white girl with the stolen palette walks out too. No bag check, no following, no eyes tracking her every move. She just leaves, and nobody stops her. This is what I'm trying to make you understand. The system ain't designed to catch crime. It's designed to police bodies. Black bodies, brown bodies. Bodies that don't fit the picture of who's supposed to have money, who's supposed to be in certain spaces, who's supposed to be trusted. You can be dressed nice, speaking polite, doing everything right. Don't matter. Your skin already told them a story, and that story says, watch this one. Winnie steps outside into the sunlight, takes a breath, keeps walking. She don't report the guard, don't complain to management. Because what would she say? He watched me. They'd say he was doing his job. He followed me? They'd say he was being thorough. The defense is built in. The system protects itself. And the exhaustion of it, the bone-deep tiredness of being suspected in every space you enter. That exhaustion don't show up on receipts. Don't leave bruises you can photograph. Don't make the news. It just sits inside you. Accumulates, adds up, every store, every aisle, every guard who appears out of nowhere when you reach for something. Every time you gotta prove you ain't stealing just by existing in a space that should be open to everyone. That's the weight. And some folks carry it so long, they forget what it feels like to walk into a store and just shop. Without the eyes, without the following, without having to be twice as careful, twice as visible, twice as aware that one wrong move gets interpreted different when it's your body making it. Winnie keeps walking. The city moves around her. People pass by, living lives where shopping is just shopping, where security is just security, where a guard's presence don't feel like an accusation. She don't have that luxury, never did. And the people who wonder why black folks talk about this, why we bring it up, why we can't just move on, they ain't never been followed through a store for the crime of browsing. They ain't never had to calculate every gesture to avoid being seen as threat. They ain't never walked out with a receipt clutched tight, just in case somebody stops them at the door and demands proof. That ain't paranoia. That's experience. That's survival. That's knowing the world sees your body before it sees your humanity, and learning to navigate that every single day until it becomes so normal you almost forget it ain't supposed to be this way. Almost. High-end restaurant. The kind with cloth napkins folded like origami, where the menu got no prices and the wine list thick as a phone book. Soft lighting, string quartet playing in the corner, white tablecloths so crisp they could cut. Winnie walks in for a business dinner. She's meeting a brand executive, someone courting her for a campaign, someone who needs her face, her platform, her influence. But the hostess at the front don't know that yet. She sees Winnie approaching and her smile does something strange. Freezes almost, like somebody hit pause on her face. "Good evening," Winnie says. Professional, warm. The hostess blinks. "Do you have a reservation?" It's a normal question, but the way she asks it ain't normal. There's doubt in it. Suspicion wrapped in politeness. "Yes, under Thompson, party at 2. The hostess looks down at her book, takes her time, runs her finger down the list slow, like she checking for errors, like maybe the reservation ain't real. Behind Winnie, a white couple walks in. The second hostess, younger, eager, lights up. "Welcome, right this way, folks." No question about reservations. No checking the book. Just immediate acceptance, immediate warmth. The first hostess finally finds Winnie's name. "Oh, yes, here it is." She says it like she's surprised, like she didn't expect it to be there. "Your guest hasn't arrived yet. You can wait at the bar." Not, "Would you like to wait at the bar?" Not, "I can seat you now if you prefer." Just direction. Just an assumption that Winnie should wait, should be elsewhere, should not be at a table alone taking up space. Winnie nods, walks to the bar, orders water. The bartender serves her. But his eyes keep drifting, watching, like he trying to figure her out, like her presence is a riddle he ain't solved yet. 10 minutes pass. The executive texts, running late, 15 more minutes. Winnie waits. She's used to waiting. Black folks get real familiar with waiting. Waiting to be seen, waiting to be served, waiting to be treated like everybody else. A white woman sits down 2 seats over, orders a cocktail. The bartender engages her immediately, asks about her day, recommends a drink, smiles wide. To Winnie, he gives refills, silent, efficient, no conversation. The executive finally arrives. White man, expensive suit, apologies tumbling out his mouth about traffic. "Ms. Harlow, so sorry to keep you waiting." The hostess appears like magic, suddenly attentive, suddenly warm. "Right this way." They're seated at a prime table. The server arrives within seconds. "Good evening, Mr. Thompson." The server knows him, of course he does. "And welcome, miss." Miss, not ma'am, not Ms. Harlow, even though he just heard the name. Just miss. Casual, diminishing. Throughout dinner, the service is split. The server addresses most questions to Thompson, refills his water first, makes eye contact with him when describing specials. Winnie might as well be furniture. And Thompson? He don't notice. Why would he? This is his normal. Servers have always centered him. Spaces have always opened for him. Respect has always arrived without him having to ask. But here's what gets me. This same restaurant got a diversity statement on their website. Got pictures of black folks in their promotional materials. Got a whole section about inclusive dining and welcoming all guests. But words on a website don't train the hostess to smile the same at every face. Words don't stop the bartender from talking to some customers and serving others in silence. Words don't make the server see Winnie as equal to the white man across from her. The luxury industry loves black culture, loves our style, our music, our influence. They'll put us in their ads. They'll use our language in their campaigns. They'll take our money, and oh, they'll definitely take our money. But respect? That's where the transaction stops. You can afford the meal. You can have the reservation. You can sit at the table. But you still gotta earn the warmth they give white folks for free. You still gotta prove you belong. You still gotta swallow the small humiliations, the doubt, the questions, the being overlooked. Because if you speak up, if you name it, if you say, "I see what you're doing," then you the problem. You the angry one, you the one making good people uncomfortable. Dessert arrives. The server places it in front of Thompson first, then Winnie. "Anything else I can get you, sir?" "Sir, not you both, not folks, just him." Thompson, oblivious, says no, asks for the check. When it comes, the server places it directly in front of him. Don't even glance at Winnie. The assumption, he's paying. Of course he's paying. She's just there, decoration maybe. Guest, certainly not equal. Thompson reaches for it, but Winnie's faster. "We're splitting this," she says, voice calm but firm. The server blinks. "Oh, of course." He takes the check back, awkward now, like she disrupted the natural order of things. When he returns with 2 receipts, he still hands Thompson's to him first. They finish. They leave. Outside, Thompson shakes her hand. "Great meeting. We'll be in touch." He walks to his car, probably parked right out front by valet, and drives away into a world that always made space for him. Winnie stands there a moment, breathing. The restaurant glows behind her. Warm light, beautiful people, expensive everything. But beauty don't mean fair. Luxury don't mean equal. And a high price tag don't buy you dignity if your skin already told them you don't deserve it. She walks to her car, gets in, sits. And for just a minute, just 1 minute, she lets the mask slip. Because that's the thing about these spaces, you gotta perform. Gotta stay composed. Gotta be twice as polished, twice as professional, twice as pleasant just to get half the treatment. One crack in that performance, one moment of visible frustration, and you confirm every ugly thing they already thought about you. So you smile, you endure, you swallow, and you carry that weight home with you every fancy dinner, every luxury hotel, every high-end store. Carrying the knowledge that the places designed to make you feel special are often the same places that make you feel small. Let me tell you about the part nobody sees. The part that happens after Winnie leaves the store, the hotel, the restaurant. The part that happens when she gets home, closes the door, and finally lets her shoulders drop. That's where the real damage lives. See, people think racism is about the moment, the slur, the obvious act, the thing you can point to and say, there, that's it, that's wrong. But most of it ain't like that. Most of it is accumulated weight, 1,000 paper cuts, a lifetime of moments that by themselves seem small, ignorable, not worth making a fuss over. But together they build something heavy inside you. Winnie sits on her couch, still wearing the outfit she put together so carefully this morning. The outfit chosen not just for style, but for armor. Professional enough to be taken seriously. Expensive enough to prove she belongs. Perfect enough to leave no room for judgment. Because that's what you do. You dress for the suspicion you know is coming. She takes off her shoes. Her feet hurt, but that ain't the pain I'm talking about. The pain I'm talking about sits deeper. It's in the replay. The mental replay that starts the moment you're safe enough to think about what happened. The hostess's face. That pause before the smile. The security guard. That stance. The bartender. That silence. The server. That assumption. Each moment small, each one deniable. Each one something someone could explain away if you brought it up. Maybe she was just busy. Maybe he watches everyone. Maybe the bartender's just quiet. Maybe the server didn't mean anything by it. Maybe. But when you live it, you know. You know the difference between being busy and being dismissed. You know the difference between routine security and targeted surveillance. You know the difference between quiet and selective silence. You know. And that knowing, that constant awareness that you being treated different, that wears on you. Winnie picks up her phone, scrolls through messages. Someone tagged her in a post celebrating diversity in fashion. Comments full of praise. So beautiful. Representation matters. Love seeing this. She stares at the screen. The same world that celebrates her online is the same world that followed her through the store this afternoon. The same people who comment red hearts are the same people who clutch their purses tighter when she walks by. Performative love. Performative inclusion. Real spaces. Real interactions. That's where the truth lives. She sets the phone down, gets up, walks to the bathroom, looks in the mirror. The vitiligo stares back. Beautiful if you ask her. Unique. A pattern no one else carries. But to the world, it's a mark. A deviation, something that needs explaining, staring at, commenting on. What happened to your skin? Is that contagious? Have you tried treatments? Like her body is a problem requiring solution. Like her existence needs justification. Even in spaces that claim to celebrate difference, she's still the different one. Still the exception. Still the body that makes people do a double take. She washes her face. Slow. The makeup comes off. The armor comes off. And underneath? Underneath is a woman tired of proving she deserves basic respect. Tired of walking into rooms ready for battle. Tired of measuring every word, every gesture, every expression to avoid confirming stereotypes she didn't create. Tired of being strong. Because here's what people don't understand. Strength ain't a choice when you black. It's a requirement. You gotta be strong to survive spaces that don't want you. You gotta be strong to endure treatment that would break others. You gotta be strong because showing weakness, showing hurt, showing anything other than composed dignity gets used against you. So you carry it. You carry the weight of every slight, every microaggression, every moment of being overlooked, oversuspected, underestimated. You carry it because what else you gonna do? Winnie climbs into bed. The sheets are soft. The room is quiet. But her mind ain't quiet. Her mind is loud with replays, with every time someone asked if she was lost when she was exactly where she meant to be. Every time someone spoke slower, louder, like maybe she don't understand English. Every time someone touched her hair without asking, like her body is public property. Every time someone called her articulate, like that's surprising. Every time someone asked where she's really from, like America ain't a good enough answer. Every time. Every single time. And the accumulation of it. The sheer weight of living in a body the world decided to judge before you even open your mouth. That changes you. Not always in ways you can see, not always in ways you can name, but it changes you. Makes you cautious where you should feel free. Makes you exhausted where you should feel energized. Makes you doubt yourself in spaces you earned the right to occupy. Makes you carry shame for things that ain't your fault. And the cruelest part? The part that sits heaviest? It's that you can't always talk about it. Because the people who don't live it don't fully get it. They hear your story and think it's about one bad interaction. They don't understand it's about a lifetime of bad interactions. A society built to question your presence. A world that treats your body like a problem it didn't ask for. So you learn to hold it. You learn to smile through it. You learn to be okay when you ain't okay, because being not okay takes energy you can't afford to spend. Winnie closes her eyes. Tomorrow, she'll get up. She'll put the armor back on. She'll walk into more rooms that don't expect her. She'll endure more looks, more questions, more moments of having to prove she belongs. Because that's what survival looks like. Not one big fight, but 1,000 small endurances. Not one dramatic stand, but a lifetime of standing anyway, even when your leg's tired. Not one wound, but layers of them, invisible to everyone but you. And the people who love to say, just ignore it, or don't let it get to you, they don't understand. You can't ignore what's everywhere. You can't not let it get to you when it's built into every interaction. You just learn to carry it. And some folks carry that weight so long it becomes part of them. Part of how they move through the world. Part of what they expect, and that's the real wound. Not the moment of disrespect, but the expectation of it. The bracing for it. The never being surprised when it comes. Because you knew. You always knew, and you were right. There comes a moment when carrying gets too heavy. When smiling through it stops feeling like strength and starts feeling like betrayal. Betrayal of yourself. Of your truth. Of every ancestor who didn't have the choice to speak up because speaking up meant death. For Winnie, that moment came quiet. Ain't always a dramatic breaking point. Sometimes it's just a Tuesday. Just another store, another look, another assumption. She's at a casting call. Fashion week. Rows of models waiting. Portfolios in hand, hoping for a spot on the runway. The casting director walks down the line. Stops at each face. Assessing, judging, deciding who fits the vision. She gets to Winnie. Pauses. Stares at her skin. The vitiligo patches mapped across her face, her arms, her hands. Interesting, she says. Not quite a compliment. More like an observation. Like Winnie's a science experiment, a curiosity. Can you cover that? She gestures vaguely at Winnie's face. With makeup? The room goes quiet. Not silent. People still breathing, still moving. But quiet in the way a room gets when something wrong just got said out loud and everybody knows it, but nobody gon' call it out. Winnie stares at her. This woman. This gatekeeper with a clipboard and the power to decide who gets seen. And something shifts inside Winnie. Not anger exactly. Something colder than that. Clearer. Clarity. The clarity that comes when you realize you've been asking the wrong question. You've been asking, how do I make them accept me? When the real question is, why am I trying to fit into spaces that require me to disappear? No, Winnie says, voice steady, calm. I can't cover it, I won't cover it. The casting director blinks. Ain't used to being told no, ain't used to models with conditions. Well, we're looking for a specific aesthetic. Then I'm not it, Winnie interrupts. And that's fine. She picks up her bag, turns, walks toward the door. Behind her, whispers start. Shock, maybe, or respect, hard to tell. But Winnie don't turn around to check. Don't wait for approval. Don't hope they change their mind. She just leaves. And walking out that door, walking away from an opportunity she would have begged for a year ago. That's when everything changes. See, the world teaches black folks to be grateful. Grateful for the table scraps of inclusion. Grateful for the bare minimum of respect. Grateful just to be considered, even when the consideration comes wrapped in conditions that require you to shrink, hide, or erase parts of yourself. But gratitude for crumbs is just another form of captivity. Winnie steps outside into the sunlight, breathes deep. For the first time in a long time, she ain't performing, ain't code switching, ain't making herself smaller to fit somebody else's comfort. She's just herself, full, complete, unapologetic. And that decision, that quiet, private decision to stop auditioning for acceptance, that becomes her revolution. Not loud, not public, not a speech or a protest or a hashtag. Just a woman deciding her dignity worth more than their approval. Days pass. Winnie starts turning down opportunities that require her to minimize herself. Brands that want her face but not her voice. Campaigns that want diversity in the photos but conformity in the contract. She starts saying no. And here's what people don't tell you about saying no. It's terrifying. Because no means risking everything you worked for. No means potentially losing money, visibility, connections. No means betting on yourself when the world already told you you ain't a safe bet. But yes, the conditional yes. The yes that comes with, but can you just? The yes that requires you to edit yourself. That yes kills you slow. So Winnie chooses the terror of no over the death of conditional yes. She starts posting photos with no filter. Skin unedited. Vitiligo visible, bold, beautiful, unapologetic. The comments come fast, some supportive, some cruel. You're so brave. Why don't you fix that? Inspiring. That's unfortunate. She reads them all. Don't respond, don't explain, don't defend. Because the point ain't to convince people. The point is to exist. Fully, without permission. And slowly, so slowly she almost don't notice at first, something starts to shift. Young girls start messaging her. Girls with vitiligo who've been hiding. Girls with scars, birthmarks, skin conditions they've been taught to see as flaws. I never saw someone like me before. You made me feel less alone. I'm gonna stop covering mine too. And that right there, that's when Winnie understands. Her choice to stop shrinking ain't just personal, it's political. Every time she shows up as herself, unedited, she's challenging a system that profits from black folks feeling inadequate. A system that sells us creams to lighten, treatments to fix, shame disguised as self-improvement. Every photo she posts is a rebellion. Every no she gives is resistance. Every space she occupies without apology is a declaration. I belong because I exist. Not because you approved me. Weeks turn to months. The opportunities she turned down, they come back. Different this time, brands reaching out not to change her but to feature her. As is, whole. Because the thing about authentic power is it can't be manufactured, can't be faked. And once someone steps into it, really steps into it, people notice. Not because she started performing confidence, but because she stopped performing anything at all. The world that told her to hide now wants her visibility. The industry that said cover that now says show us more. Not because they changed, but because she became undeniable. And here's the lesson. You can spend your whole life trying to fit into spaces that don't want you, twisting yourself into shapes that hurt, apologizing for existing. Or you can decide, right now, today, that your wholeness is non-negotiable. That you ain't gonna audition for basic respect. That you ain't gonna shrink to make others comfortable. That you gonna take up space unapologetically and let the world adjust. Winnie chose the second path, and choosing it didn't make the racism stop. Didn't make the looks go away. Didn't make the world suddenly fair, but it made her free. The phone rings different now, same device, same number. But the tone on the other end? That changed. Used to be polite rejections. We'll keep you in mind. Not quite what we're looking for. Maybe next season. Now it's urgency. Desperation almost. We'd love to work with you. When are you available? Name your price. Winnie sits in her apartment, coffee getting cold, listening to her agent list opportunities. The same agencies that wouldn't return her calls 2 years ago. The same brands that said she was too niche. The same magazines that told her, maybe for a special issue. Now they calling. Now they interested. Now they suddenly see what they told her was invisible before. And I want you to understand something. The world didn't get better. The world got strategic. See, somewhere between Winnie walking out of that casting call and now, the industry noticed something. Noticed young people online gravitating toward authenticity. Noticed consumers tired of the same filtered, perfected, unattainable images. Noticed money flowing toward brands that felt real, diverse, different. The market shifted. And when the market shifts, suddenly the flaws they told you to hide become the unique features they want to sell. Winnie's vitiligo, the same skin they asked her to cover, now it's striking, bold, revolutionary. Her refusal to conform, the same attitude that got her labeled difficult, now it's empowering, authentic, exactly what we need. Nothing about her changed. Everything about their need for her did. First major campaign comes from a luxury skincare brand. Ironic, ain't it? They selling products to perfect skin and they want the woman who refused to fix hers. The creative director explains the concept. Talks about celebrating natural beauty and redefining standards and all kinds of progressive language that sounds good in presentations. Winnie listens, nods, then asks the question that matters. Who else is on the team? The director blinks. What do you mean? The photographer. The creative team. The marketing department. How many black folks? How many people with skin conditions? How many disabled folks? How many people who actually live the diversity you selling? Silence. The kind of silence that tells you everything. We're working on that, the director says. Uncomfortable now. Work faster, Winnie says, because I'm not interested in being your diversity trophy. Either we doing this right or we ain't doing it. She walks away from that deal. 2 weeks later, they call back. New team. More inclusive, better contract. She signs. Because here's what Winnie learned. When you the one they need, you get to make demands. You get to set terms. You get to say, this is how we doing it, or we ain't doing it at all. Power ain't given, it's taken. And she taking it. The campaign launches. Her face, vitiligo prominent, unedited, beautiful. On billboards across major cities, on magazine covers, on screens in Times Square. The same face they told her wouldn't sell, selling. The same skin they said was too different, becoming iconic. And overnight, though it wasn't really overnight, it was years of rejection and persistence, Winnie becomes what the industry calls in demand. More calls, more offers, more brands wanting to attach themselves to her image, her story, her refusal to conform. But she don't forget the casting directors who passed. Don't forget the agencies who said no. Don't forget the brands that wanted her hidden. Some of them reach out now, apologizing in ways that don't quite say sorry, explaining how they always saw her potential, even though their emails said otherwise. She's polite, professional, and she don't work with them. Because the market might have made them call, but it didn't make them sincere. They don't want her because they believe in her. They want her because she's profitable now. And there's a difference between being valued and being used. Winnie starts being selective, chooses campaigns that mean something, brands that putting money where their mouth is, hiring diverse teams, supporting black communities, creating real change beyond marketing slogans. She turns down the others, even the big ones, even the money that would set her up for life. Because what's the point of success if you gotta betray yourself to get it? What's the point of visibility if you invisible in all the ways that matter? The industry notices. Some respect it, some resent it. She's too political now. She's difficult to work with. She's not grateful enough. The same language they always use when black folks, when women, when anyone who've been marginalized start setting boundaries and demanding respect. But Winnie learned something crucial. Their comfort is not her responsibility. Their ability to exploit her is not her obligation. Their need for her image does not entitle them to her dignity. So she keeps saying no to the wrong opportunities and yes to the right ones. And the right ones, they change the game. Campaigns celebrating natural skin, editorials featuring models with disabilities, runway shows with bodies of all sizes, all shades, all abilities, not perfect, not revolutionary, but different than before. And Winnie at the center of it. Not because she the only one fighting, but because she visible enough to make the fight visible. Young girls see her. Women with vitiligo see her. Black folks navigating white spaces see her. And they see possibility, not the lie that racism ended, not the fantasy that one successful person fixes a broken system, but the truth that you can survive it. You can thrive despite it. You can refuse to shrink and still find space. That's the real brand, not the clothes she wears or the products she sells, but the permission she gives others to exist fully, to take up space, to say no, to demand better, to turn the thing the world called a flaw into the thing the world can't look away from. The phone keeps ringing, and Winnie keeps choosing. Not based on money, not based on fame, not based on what the industry wants, based on what serves her values, her community, her truth. Because the moment you realize you the prize, not them, that's when you start winning games you didn't even know you could play. That's when the flaw becomes the feature. That's when the rejection becomes protection. That's when the no's you collected become the foundation for the yes that actually matters. She walks into the same boutique, the one from the beginning, the one where the door opened but the welcome didn't. Different day, different year, same glass door. But everything else? Different. This time, the manager recognizes her from across the store, drops what she's doing, comes over fast, smile wide. "Ms. Harlow, what an honor. Please let me assist you personally." Winnie don't smile back, just nods, polite, distant. She remembers being followed, remembers the cold shoulder, remembers having to prove she could afford to breathe the same air as the handbags. The manager don't remember, or pretends not to. "We have some exclusive pieces I think you'd love. Just came in, not even on the floor yet." She's attentive now. Warm, falling over herself to be helpful. Winnie browses slow, takes her time, not because she's interested, because she can, because power is being able to walk through spaces that used to reject you and watch them scramble to accommodate you now. A sales associate approaches, the same one who hovered before, watching Winnie like she was inventory to protect rather than a customer to serve. She don't recognize Winnie. Or maybe she does and hoping Winnie don't recognize her. "Can I get you anything? Water? Champagne?" Champagne. They offering champagne now. Winnie meets her eyes, holds the gaze just long enough for recognition to flicker across the woman's face. "No thank you," Winnie says, voice even, calm. "I'm just looking." The woman nods, backs away, uncomfortable. Good. Discomfort is what they gave Winnie. Only fair they taste it back. She don't buy anything, ain't planning to. Just wanted to see it, wanted to feel it. The shift, the change, the desperate politeness from people who once gave her nothing but suspicion. She leaves. The manager calls after her. "Please come back anytime. We'd love to see you again." Winnie don't respond, just walks out. The same glass door, the same expensive whisper when it closes. But this time, she the one choosing not to engage. She the one withholding warmth. She the one deciding they ain't worth her time. The invitations pile up now. Fashion week, exclusive events, galas, award shows. The same spaces that made her feel like an intruder now begging for her presence. The same organizations that overlooked her now offering her awards. Trailblazer, icon, revolutionary. The words sound nice. But Winnie knows what they really mean. They mean, you profitable now. They mean, you can't be ignored anymore. They mean, we need you to legitimize us. Some invitations she accepts, the ones that come with real money, real platforms, real opportunities to amplify other voices. The rest, she declines. No explanation, no apology, just no. And the beauty of being in demand is that no don't need justification. No is a complete sentence when you're the one they chasing. A major fashion house reaches out, the same one that rejected her 5 years ago, told her she wasn't the right fit for the brand. Now they want her as the face of their new campaign. The creative pitch arrives, glossy, expensive, all about celebrating individuality and breaking barriers. Winnie reads it, laughs. Not a happy laugh. Knowing one. She calls her agent. Tell them I want triple their offer, and I want creative control. Full approval on imagery, team composition, and messaging. They might not agree to that, her agent warns. Then they don't want me bad enough, Winnie says. 2 days later, they agree. Because that's how it works when you stop being desperate. When you stop accepting crumbs. When you know your value and refuse to negotiate it down. They need you more than you need them. The campaign shoots. Winnie shows up with demands. Changes things she don't like. Pushes back on concepts that feel performative. Insists on diverse crew. Fair pay for everyone, authentic representation. The creative director frustrated. Ain't used to models having opinions. Ain't used to being challenged. Too bad. This ain't the old Winnie, the one who stayed quiet to keep the job. This the new one. The one who knows jobs come and go, but dignity is forever. The campaign launches, it's beautiful. It's real, it's everything the first pitch wasn't. And it's successful, massively. Sales up, brand perception up. Social media engagement through the roof. They want to extend the contract. Winnie considers it, asks for more, gets it. Because the game done changed. She ain't playing by their rules no more. They playing by hers. Award season comes. She's nominated for Model of the Year. The same industry that told her she'd never make it now wanting to give her a trophy. She accepts the nomination, shows up to the ceremony, wins, walks to the stage in a gown that shows her vitiligo proud. No makeup covering it. No attempt to minimize it, just her, fully visible, undeniably present. The applause is loud, standing ovation. She takes the mic. The room goes quiet. "Thank you," she says. "But I'm not accepting this as validation. I'm accepting this as confirmation that I was right to refuse to hide. That every door I was turned away from wasn't a door I needed to walk through. That my worth was never in question. Your ability to recognize it was." Silence, uncomfortable shifting, then applause. Slower this time, more measured. Because truth makes people nervous, especially truth that holds a mirror up to their complicity. Winnie don't care. She said what needed saying. Later at the after-party, industry people approach, wanting photos, wanting to be seen with her, wanting association with her success. The same people who wouldn't return her calls. She's polite, professional, takes the photos, but she don't forget, and she don't pretend. Success didn't make them better people. It just made them better actors. Weeks later, she's back in her apartment, awards on the shelf, contracts on the table, phone full of opportunities. And she thinks about the girl she was, the one who walked into that boutique hoping to be treated like she mattered. That girl would be amazed at where she is now. But this woman knows the truth. The doors opened because she became too big to ignore. Not because they changed, not because racism ended, not because the industry suddenly cared, but because she made herself undeniable. And that's power, not waiting for permission, not hoping for acceptance, but building something so strong, so authentic, so necessary, that they got no choice but to make room. The doors that once closed now swing wide, but Winnie walks through them different now. Not grateful, not humble, not trying to prove she belongs, just knowing she was always worthy of the space. They just finally valuable enough to deserve her presence. Let me tell you what success don't fix. Winnie's on a flight. First class. Seat she paid for with money she earned. Boarding pass in hand, everything legitimate, everything proper. She walks down the aisle, finds her seat, 2A window, sits down, gets comfortable. White man in the aisle seat looks at her. Does that thing with his face, that tightening, that assessment. Flight attendant walks by. He stops her. "Excuse me," he says, voice low but not low enough. "I think she might be in the wrong section." The attendant looks at Winnie, then at him, then back at Winnie. "Ma'am, can I see your boarding pass?" Not, "Sir, she has as much right to be here as you." Not, "I'm sure she knows where her seat is." Just immediate assumption that the black woman must be the one who wrong. Winnie don't sigh, don't roll her eyes, just pulls out her boarding pass. Hands it over. The attendant checks it. Twice, like maybe it's fake, like maybe Winnie snuck past security, past the gate, past every checkpoint just to steal a first-class seat. Oh, yes, you're fine. Sorry about that. Sorry to who? To Winnie for doubting her? Or to the white man for not removing her? The attendant walks away. The man don't apologize. Just opens his newspaper, creates a wall between them. Here's what I need you to understand. Winnie is successful now. Recognized, celebrated, got campaigns and contracts and awards. But racism don't check your resume before it shows up. Don't care how many magazine covers you on. Don't care how much money in your account. Don't matter if you famous. Don't matter if you accomplished. Don't matter if you twice as qualified. You still black. And in this world, that still means something to people who don't know better. Airport, different day. Winnie walking through security. TSA agent looks at her ID, looks at her face, back at the ID. This you? Like the vitiligo might be a disguise, like maybe she stole someone's identity. Yes. He stares longer than necessary, calls over a supervisor. They examine her ID together, whisper. Look at her like she a problem waiting to happen. Finally wave her through. No apology. No acknowledgement that they just treated a tax-paying citizen like a suspect for the crime of existing while black. She collects her bags, keeps moving. Because what else she gonna do? Miss her flight arguing with people who already decided she's suspicious. High-end restaurant, Winnie meeting a friend. She arrives first. Hostess looks her up and down. Are you sure you have a reservation? Same question. Different city, same doubt. Yes, under Harlow. The hostess checks. Finds it, still looks skeptical. Your party hasn't arrived yet. You'll need to wait at the bar. White couple walks in behind Winnie, no reservation. Table for two? Right this way. Immediate seating, no questions, no waiting. Winnie watches, takes note. Don't make a scene. But she remembers, always remembers. Her friend arrives, white woman, industry connection. They're seated immediately now. Different energy, different warmth. The server attentive, smiling, helpful. But Winnie knows it ain't her presence that changed the energy. It's her proximity to whiteness. That's the game. That's always been the game. You more palatable when you adjacent to white comfort. More acceptable when you in mixed company. More human when you got a white person vouching for your existence. Alone? You a question mark. With them? You a guest. The success didn't change that. The visibility didn't change that. The awards didn't change that. She still gets followed in stores sometimes. Still gets the side-eye in luxury spaces. Still gets asked if she's sure she in the right place. Because the problem was never about her qualifications. The problem is the system. The assumptions baked into every interaction. The bias that operates automatically beneath conscious thought, declaring some bodies worthy and others suspect. And here's the hard truth. Individual success don't dismantle systems. Winnie made it, but making it don't mean the ladder disappeared. Don't mean the obstacle's gone. Don't mean the next black girl with vitiligo gon' have an easier path. It just means Winnie climbed high enough that some people can't ignore her. But plenty still try. Interview. Major publication. The journalist, white woman, well-meaning, asks about Winnie's struggle with her condition. Not experience with vitiligo. Struggle. Like having unique skin is a burden she carrying rather than a characteristic she owns. I don't struggle with it, Winnie corrects. Other people struggle with accepting it. I'm fine. The journalist blinks, writes that down, moves on. Later, the article comes out, headline, Winnie Harlow opens up about living with vitiligo. Like it's a disease, like it's something she's surviving rather than something she is. She could fight it, could demand a correction, could make noise. But how many corrections can one person demand before they labeled difficult again? How many times can you call out bias before people stop seeing the bias and start seeing you as the problem? That's the exhaustion that don't go away. The knowledge that even when you win, you still gotta fight, still gotta prove, Still gotta educate people who should already know better. Still gotta be twice as careful, twice as professional, twice as perfect because one mistake from you confirms every stereotype they already believed. Success gave Winnie a platform, gave her visibility, gave her financial security, but it didn't give her freedom from racism. Didn't make TSA agents stop questioning her ID. Didn't make flight passengers stop assuming she in the wrong seat. Didn't make journalists stop framing her existence as tragedy. Didn't make the world suddenly see her as just human, just woman, just person. She's still black, still marked, still navigating a world built to doubt her. The difference now? She got resources to fight back, got a voice people listen to, got power she didn't have before. But the fight itself? That didn't end. And anyone telling you that individual black success means racism over is either lying or don't understand how systems work. The system's still here, still operating, still producing the same results for the majority of black folks who ain't famous, ain't rich, ain't visible enough to shame people into treating them right. Winnie knows this, carries this, uses her platform to speak on it when she can. But she also knows she can't fix it alone, can't dismantle white supremacy with a runway walk, can't end systemic bias with an Instagram post, can't make people see her humanity when they've been taught her whole life to see her skin first. She can survive it. She can thrive despite it. She can refuse to let it break her. But she can't make it disappear. None of us can, not alone, not individually, not by being exceptional. The system don't break because one person escaped it. It breaks when we collectively refuse to accept it, when we call it out every time, when we build different structures, when we demand better, together. Until then, success just means better seats on the same rigged plane. Now I'm going to talk direct, not to Winnie, to you. You watching this story, you listening to these chapters, maybe you seeing yourself in them, maybe you ain't. But either way, you need to hear this. This ain't a fairy tale. This ain't a story where one person's success fixes a broken system, where individual excellence erases collective oppression, where being exceptional means being exempt. Winnie Harlow made it. That's true, she climbed, she survived. She turned rejection into power and doubt into fuel. But her success didn't make the boutique stop following black folks, didn't make TSA stop questioning black IDs, didn't make restaurants stop seating white folks first, didn't make the world suddenly fair. It just made her visible enough that some folks can't pretend they don't see her. And that visibility, that's a gift and a burden both. Gift because she can speak now, can platform others, can use her position to amplify voices that usually get silenced. Burden because she gotta represent, gotta be perfect, gotta carry the weight of every black girl watching her, hoping her success means theirs is possible too. That's a heavy load for one person, too heavy. And here's what I need you to understand. The story you just heard, that story's still happening right now, today, in your city, in your neighborhood, in spaces you walk through without thinking twice. Black folks getting followed in stores you shop in, getting questioned in hotels you check into, getting doubted in restaurants you eat at, getting overlooked in offices you work in. Same spaces, different experiences. Not because they're doing anything wrong, but because the world trained people to see black bodies as problems before people. And if you ain't living that, if you can walk into a store and nobody hovers, if you can sit in first class and nobody questions your ticket, if you can exist in spaces without constantly proving you belong, that ain't luck, that's privilege. And what you do with that privilege matters. You can ignore it, pretend everybody got the same experience. Tell yourself racism is over because you don't see it. Or you can recognize it, use it. Speak up when you see a black customer getting followed while you getting smiled at. Question why the hostess seated you immediately, but made them wait. Notice when your coworkers' ideas get ignored until you repeat them. Use your proximity to power to redistribute it. That's the work. Not waiting for more Winnies to climb their way to success, but dismantling the barriers that make climbing necessary in the first place. Because here's the truth they don't want you to know. The system designed to keep most people out. It lets a few through, just enough to point to as proof that anybody can make it if they work hard enough. But that's a lie. Hard work ain't the difference between Winnie and the thousands of black girls with vitiligo who ain't on magazine covers. Between her and the black women still getting followed in stores. Between her and the folks still carrying the weight with no platform to speak from. The difference is opportunity meeting preparation, meeting timing, meeting luck. And most folks don't get all four, so they stay struggling, stay fighting, stay carrying weight that ain't theirs to carry while the world tells them they just ain't working hard enough. That's the real violence, not the obvious kind. The systemic kind. The kind that operates in hiring practices and school funding and housing discrimination and healthcare disparities and generational wealth gaps. The kind that lets a few succeed so the system can deny its own brutality. Look, she made it. Racism must not be that bad. Except it is. It is that bad. And Winnie making it don't change the lived reality of millions of black folks navigating a world built to exclude them. So here's my warning. Don't watch this story and think it's over. Don't see her success and believe the problem is solved. Don't let individual triumph distract you from collective struggle. Because while you celebrating one person who climbed, there's thousands still at the bottom trying to breathe, trying to survive, trying to get someone to see their humanity. And they need more than inspiration. They need action. They need solidarity. They need systems to change. They need white folks to stop being silent when they see racism happening. They need employers to stop hiring culture fit and start examining their bias. They need teachers to stop punishing black kids for the same behavior they excuse in white kids. They need doctors to stop dismissing black pain. They need police to stop seeing black bodies as threats. They need a world that values black life the same way it values white comfort. That's the work, and it ain't easy. It ain't comfortable. It requires you to examine yourself, to confront your own bias, to risk your own comfort for someone else's dignity. But it's necessary, because we can keep producing exceptional black folks who overcome every obstacle, and we will, because we always have. But wouldn't it be better if we removed the obstacles? Wouldn't it be better if black children could walk through the world without being trained to fear police? If black teenagers could shop without being followed? If black adults could exist in professional spaces without code switching? If black elders could age without carrying decades of accumulated trauma from a world that never saw them fully human? Wouldn't that be better than celebrating the few who survived despite everything? I think it would. Winnie thinks it would too. That's why she don't just sit comfortable in her success. She speaks. She platforms others. She demands better. She uses what she got to push for what should be. But she can't do it alone. None of us can. This ain't a story with an ending. This is ongoing. This is now. This is the world we living in. The world we building. The world we either gon' change or pass on broken to the next generation. So I'm asking you, what you gon' do? You gon' watch and applaud and move on? Or you gon' recognize your part in all this and do something different? You gon' stay silent when you see injustice? Or you gon' speak up, even when it's uncomfortable? You gon' keep benefiting from systems of oppression? Or you gon' work to dismantle them? Because here's the final truth. Winnie's story beautiful, powerful, important. But it shouldn't have to be extraordinary. Black folks existing in their fullness, being respected, being valued, being seen. That should be ordinary. That should be basic. That should be guaranteed. And until it is, until every black person can walk through this world with the same ease, the same safety, the same assumption of humanity that white folks get automatically, the work ain't done, the story ain't over. And we all got a part to play, so play it. Not someday, not eventually, not when it's convenient. Now, because the next Winnie watching, learning, deciding if she gon' hide or stand tall. And what she decides depends partly on what kind of world we building for her. A world that makes her prove her worth, or a world that sees her value from the start. That's on us, all of us. Together, when no one speaks, the silence weighs heavy. But when someone speaks, when someone acts, when someone decides they won't accept it anymore, the world begins to shake. And that's why this story ends here. Not as an ending, but as a beginning. as an invitation, as a call, as a mirror, as a... You've seen her journey. Now what will yours be?